Good morning, Living Waters. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. We're looking at this theme of God breaking down the walls that divide us. I turn us to John chapter 7. We are only dabbling in the gospel this week. I could have done a whole week on just all the times that Jesus breaks down the walls, like we heard this past Sunday. But I wanted to get some other texts in there too. So, no, if you basically read the Gospels, you'll see Jesus do this action constantly. But in fact, we're going to today, in John 7, 19 through 24, pull a passage that I don't think gets in the lectionary very often, if ever. Right before it does and right after it does. But this section usually gets left out. Jesus asks, "Did not Moses give you the law? Yet none of you keeps the law. Why are you looking for an opportunity to kill me?" All right, so hypocrisy. Matthew would like to point that out too. The crowd answered, "You have a demon. Who's trying to kill you?" Jesus answered, "I performed one work, and all of you are astonished. Moses gave you circumcision. It is, of course, not from Moses, but from the patriarchs." Interesting noted there. "And you circumcise a man on the Sabbath. If a man receives circumcision on the Sabbath, in order that the law of Moses may not be broken, are you angry with me because I healed a man's whole body on the Sabbath? Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment." Okay? So, Jesus is actually talking about something that's going to be a big point of discussion in the early church and the books to come in the New Testament. This idea of, well, if you're really a Christian, if you're really a Jewish Christian, really, you are entering the chosen people as well as into Christ, you will get circumcised. Okay, this is the sign of the covenant. Right here, Jesus, the writer, lets us know that it's not actually from Moses, though. It's from the patriarchs, those who recorded the law. Perhaps something has changed over the times. Jesus is basically saying it really isn't that important, right? Jesus will go on to actually say that faith is important. Just like other teachings of Jesus, it's not what comes in our mouth that's important, the purity laws, rather what comes out of it, what is connected to our spirit, who we are, what we believe. And so, yes, this is a text, like I said, that doesn't get talked about very often. I wish it would, right? There's this dynamic. Jesus is saying, why are you enforcing parts of the law when you don't follow it at all anyway? No one follows it in their totality. That's part of the problem. That's why Jesus came to save us, right? It's impossible to be saved by the law. And so when we pick and choose the things we want to enforce to create walls, that's a problem, says Jesus. God says to us it's a problem when we use God's law that's meant to the betterment, to bring together of God's people, to use that as a way to divide and separate, for hate even. It's wrong. Jesus is already heading it off at the pass, and yet the early church still won't get past the whole circumcision thing because they're so addicted to the walls that they've put in place. It's hard to wrap our minds around grace. It's hard to accept that God's love for all really means all. Heaven's not a gated community. All right. That's a good setup for the rest of the week. Like I said, there's a little bit of foreshadowing happening too of what we'll get into. So I will see you tomorrow, my friends.